Solemn. A word meaning serious and dignified. Also used to mean sympathetic. Solemn is my favorite word. I believe the reason why is because of the silent N in the word solemn. The fact is that M and N, they sound so similar that is it the N or the M that's silent? Solemn. Hello. Who am I? A lot of people call me a lot of different things. People normally call me Anna, Leo, Morgan. I never really correct people if they use a name that doesn't really stand by me, but I don't really care, myself personally. I've been wanting to join YouTube, it's not a good way, add my thoughts, experiences, and all the stuff I tend to like to do. I wanted to add it to YouTube for a while now. And I thought, right now, why not do it now? I all of a sudden have a lot more spare time on my hands. It will be very brief, the spare time that I have. But perhaps if I get myself in the sort of just, what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of getting used to just doing it on a daily basis. I'm hoping to do at least one video a day. If I get used to it, I could perhaps do it and do something that I love, as I've looked up to a lot of people myself. We're about 2 minutes in, I've probably already bored you. Most likely, no one will watch this video, at least for a long time, but if I keep at a constant schedule, I think I could get somebody that likes watching me. I want to do a lot of things in my life. I am a very spaced out person. I love math, but I also love film and baking, all these things, so I don't know what I'm really going to do. I personally see a lot of channels that specify in certain things, whether it be gaming or baking or vlogging. I don't know what I'm going to do, if I'm going to dabble in all of these things or just stick to talking. I don't know, I tend to ramble a lot and go from subject to subject fairly quickly and without a real transition, so I don't know how this is going to go. I suppose I should talk a bit about myself and what I want to do. I suppose this is a bit of an introduction. What I'd like to do is start off every video with a word. And this first video is my favorite word, solemn. And hopefully I could build a vocabulary. These words will most likely be words I already know, however, eventually I'm probably going to run out of words that are, archaic's the wrong word, exotic is maybe a bit word, words that you don't normally hear in normal discussion. So, what I really hope for this channel is also, I enjoy reading myself, well, storytelling, actually. Reading novels, stuff like that. I don't know, I haven't done it in a while, but I do have a book that I have gotten more recently. It looks really good. I'm probably going to start reading maybe a chapter a day of that. Maybe I could talk about that on this. I also, with my free time that I have all of a sudden, I'm probably going to do some baking myself. My family, well, specifically my mother, not my entire family, my mother's gifted with baking, and I was sort of passed down with that gift. I will give somebody, like, some sort of pastry, and let's say, oh, this is the best that I've had of this, and I'll eat it and think, wow, this is awful. So, I don't know if that's me being overcritical of myself, which I tend to do now. I've never made anything good, but I still tend to be really overcritical, just never really doing anything about it. But I don't know. Perhaps I'll do that. I can give out a couple recipes this way and just ramble. I've already rambled for 5 minutes, not really talking about anything without a defined subject matter. So, I suppose this is the. See, I don't like the term pilot. You see a lot of shows, especially on TV, that use the term like pilot for the very first episode. I don't like that. Where did it come from? It's such an odd word that they just use. A pilot. I can understand a pilot's not just, someone that flies a plane. A pilot's sort of like a leader, like a pilot hole with woodworking. I also do a little bit of woodworking every once in a while, but I don't like that term pilot. It's just, it seems a bit out of place. Why not introduction or welcome? I think that would be a good word if there had to be like a word that you just stereotypically use for the very first episode of something. Why not welcome? So just allow everybody to come in saying, I want you to enjoy what I've created. Welcome. Such an odd word. I was about to try to define it, but it's such a strange word. It's like trying to define act. It's a bit hard to do. Or use also a very hard word to translate, really. At least I've heard. I've never actually tried to do it myself outside of Latin. As most people out there, I'm at least learning a second, or at least attempting to learn a second language, Latin, which I think is kind of funny how of all the languages I could have learned Mandarin, French, German. I could have learned all these languages that are very diverse, a lot of people use, and would probably better me anyway, anything that I go into. When I chose Latin, the one that no one speaks anymore, we can't really learn it fluently because of how complicated it is. I don't know. The only thing that we can really get for is poetry. Latin poetry, it's great, 100%. I like it personally, except for, well, yes, I enjoy ancient Latin poetry. How they sort of, especially with translating it compared to just reading someone else's translation, it sort of allows you to make very broad assumptions. Well, not broad assumptions, but very strange assumptions, because especially in Latin, there are a couple words that are really left out. You have to assume like, oh, well, this is with this person, but that's not on the right. That's not on the right gender. This and that. I actually had somebody defend that. There's this guy. His name's Catullus, and he's obsessed with this girl by the name of Clodia, and it's just very odd. His first couple of poems are about his girlfriend, Clodia. However, smack dab in the middle, specifically his fourth poem, he talks about a boat. And how great this boat is and how swift it is. I had somebody take that boat and how out of place it is, and talk about how Clodia is actually a boat. This is high class. I'm pretty sure he has a YouTube channel himself. I'll link it in the description. Oh. It's supposed to be kind of useless, a video that very few people are going to see. I don't even know if I'm going to upload this. I hope that I'm going to build up the courage to just press OK. Let's post this on YouTube for the entire world to see. Myself, I like poetry, as I've already said. I like writing my own poetry. I like delving too far into the poetry and assuming things that don't really make sense. I like that, honestly. So, I don't know what I'm going to ramble out next. Already we're getting close to 10 minutes. I don't really know what to talk about next. I don't know. I may do something with video games on this channel. Actually, no, I probably shouldn't do that. I don't have... Shush. I don't have... I don't... I knew it. I knew there was going to be a third one. There's always a third one. I don't have, like, any of the fancy setup equipment, the capture card, whatever. This is already looking... I can already tell this is going to be... Well, it's going to obviously look a bit low budget. I'm not even recording this with a real camera. This is something that's on an iPad, which is going to be obvious with how gritty everything looks. I know. I do have a really good camera. I was given it... What is he barking at? Yeah, he'll deal with it himself. Shush! I like how I'm saying shush. He's downstairs and I'm like quietly going shh. He can't hear me. Well, dogs can hear. I'm rambling. Again, I'm also even... It's like he knows. I am rambling a bit. What was I talking about? Capture cards, yes. I don't have a capture card. Oh yes, cameras. I'm also into photography a little bit. I was given a camera. It was a very good camera. I think it's called a DSLR. I'm not sure. But I take photographs. People say, hey, that's a nice photograph. I don't question it. So, according to one of my friends, his name's Peyton, I can take video on that, but you can obviously tell by the fact that I'm using an iPad as my setup. I'm not exactly the most technologically advanced person. Yeah. So, I suppose I should probably wrap this up a bit. You know what? Maybe I can ramble for another 3 minutes. 15. 15's a good number. I like this number. 15 is a great number because it's sort of because it factors out into 5 and 3, and that's the only thing it can go into, and both are prime numbers, and for some reason, that really appeals to me. The fact that this thing, it's not a prime number, but it derives into two different prime numbers, but it's the only two things. I personally really enjoy that myself. What else could I talk about? I suppose that's really it. So, what is there left to say? For those that are watching, do watch. For those in the future that do watch this, I'm not sure if anyone will ever watch this. Perhaps in 10 odd years I'll log into my old Google account and say, hell yeah, I made this one video. There's sort of this daunting fear that I have that I'm not going to even upload this, or I'm going to only upload this one and then just never come back to it. It's definitely my biggest fear, not failure. Because failure, it only allows you to try again on any past success. I'm afraid that I'm just going to forget or lose interest. I'm a very spaced out person. I don't know what I want to do with my life quite yet. A lot of people, they've chosen something. I want to work with art. I want to be a lawyer, this and that. I don't know what I'm going to do. I personally see it as I have a couple different derivatives in which I can go into. But I can't decide on one. So I sort of just need to pick one that I can really work with and just go at it, because I can't space myself out like this. It would be impossible to do everything all at once, but that's what my strange mind is telling me to do. Space everything out. Do it all at once. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. Maybe I could read off some poetry in the next episode. Well, is this an episode? Next video would be a better thing. I don't know what I should do. Should I make it like, oh yeah, in this video I'm only doing baking. In this video I'm only doing this and that. But I don't know. Just a fair warning to anybody that discovers this video and decide that, hey, I'm not that annoying and you're bored. Perhaps you'll look at some of my other stuff. What the plan is so far, at least for me, is my videos would probably be very, very odd. Some being 10 minutes, others being an hour. Oh, this is wonderful lighting. I love this lighting right here. Especially in real life, but it also captures it really good on camera. Where I am right now, the sun is setting, and it's quite beautiful, in my opinion. Now, I can never show it on camera, because there would also be too much light, but it's sort of an in-the-moment thing, or I have the capability of just enjoying it now, and I could never truly really see it that well, or could I never truly experience it just by way of a camera. It's one of those amazing things that you have to experience in real life in order to truly enjoy it. Oh. I suppose I should cut it off here. I've already run a minute longer than I wanted to, but that's fine. That's fine. So, thank you, everybody, and welcome.